So this activity is called rock and roll painting, and it addresses abstract thinking, creativity, sequencing, fine motor skills, and coping skills.
This activity promotes creativity because participants can choose their own colors, designs, phrases, shapes, and sizes. It also requires participants to brainstorm optimistic thoughts to write on the rocks. Painting these rocks fosters active leisure engagement because participants can express their emotions using creative thinking and fine motor skills in a low-stress environment.
So for rock and roll painting, you need rocks that you can find outside, foam or paper plates to put the paint on, different size brushes, different color paints, I would prefer bright colors, and a mug with water so you can clean off your brushes.
Rocks can be very easily attainable. All you have to do is just walk outside. Rocks are everywhere. As you can see, we just found one just this easily.
So these are more rocks today that I found. The first thing that you want to do is definitely rinse them off because a lot of them are covered in dirt. So come on over here with me. So I'm just going to place these down here and maybe 2 at a time. I'm going to rinse them off in the sink. Because if you're painting them with dirt, the dirt can definitely interfere with the paint. Shake them out, then put them back down to dry, and they'll usually dry in about 5 minutes. So for rock and roll painting, you want big brushes to cover the whole rock with paint, because you can do small rocks, big rocks, and just a bigger brush makes it easier to paint the whole entire rock. You also want small brushes so you can write words and phrases on the rock that inspire you. For example, I used hope for this one. It makes it easier to make lines and dots. I actually make dots with a bigger brush. I use the end and I dip it in the paint and then I make dots that way. So you can find these paints at AC Moore or Walmart. Each tube of paint is usually 50 cents to $1. And then you can get a package of paint brushes that are about $5. And then you can just find the rocks outside, and then paper or foam plates are about $5. So today I'm gonna paint my rock this aqua blue-green color. So I'm gonna pour a little bit onto my plate. And I'm going to leave my rock on my plate so I don't get my table messy. I'm going to use a big brush so I can paint my whole rock easily. So it can be difficult because you want to paint one side, let it dry, and then turn it over to paint the other side. So first you're going to want to go over it a few times so you really get the color on there. And then put it down to let it dry, and then you can do the other side next.
So before I actually start painting on the rocks, I think what a good idea is to brainstorm some ideas of things that make me happy that I would want to paint on the rocks beforehand. So some initial things that come to my mind when I think of what I want to write on the rocks might be happy, or family, because family is very important to me, so I'd like to put it on a rock. Maybe love, and maybe I'll put on some important dates, so maybe May 21st, 2016. That's a really important day to me because that's when I graduate, and that's a big accomplishment in my life, so that's something I'd like to represent. Maybe I'd also like to draw pictures. So maybe some ideas could be pictures of a flower, because something about springtime and flowers just puts me in a good mood. Or maybe I'll draw a heart. And if I have some other rocks that are a little bit bigger enough to maybe put a phrase on it, one phrase that I like to live by is live, laugh, and love. So yeah, those are some ideas to start with.
So in order to keep my hands clean, I want to wait for this side to dry first. So it seems pretty dry. So now I'm going to flip it over and paint the next side. So the word I'm going to choose today is love because I love this activity. It's fun, it's stress relieving, and I can be as creative as I want to be. So I waited for this side to dry, and now I'm going to use dark blue to write my word. Usually you want to use a darker paint color over a lighter paint color so it's easier to see. So you only need a little. Now I'm going to use a small brush because it's much easier to write letters on a small rock.
Movie that I think you like. This guy decides to quit his job and head to New York City.
You can also decorate it. You don't just have to put a word or a phrase. So one way that I like to decorate my rocks is by using a really big brush, but using actually the other side that doesn't have the bristles. I dunk this side into a different color. So say I want to use red. So I dunk it. And then this can easily make polka dots. See? It's that easy. So for my next rock, I want to paint a flower so I can put it in my garden. So I'm going to use yellow and pink. And sometimes I just make flowers by using dots because I'm not that artistic, but I still love doing this activity. So I'll just do one big circle in the middle for the middle of the flower. Then I'll clean it off. And use pink for all the petals.
I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear.
So if you've written some rocks or painted some rocks with sayings that you think your friends might like, you could always give them to a friend.
Thank you. So I hope that one day you try out this activity. When I do this activity, it helps me cope with my stress and I can be creative and it's really fun. Thanks so much for watching this video.